Hello from the streets of St. John, New Brunswick. So we are going to explore the city today, give everyone a little bit of a car break. We're going to an open market right now, so take you along.
Big Sam.
We have a little memorial here. Interesting. It's World War I. Well, it says the Great War, but the dates are World War II. Korea and Afghanistan. Those are some interesting war choices. They have a smaller sign over here that just says the Merchant Navy. And these are World War I, World War II, and maybe the Korean War? Yeah, the Korean War. Interesting. This is interesting. It almost looks like that should be like a stage or somewhere people can gather, but there's no way of getting up there. Not a fountain. Well, St. John was a bit of a bust. We were feeling a little misled, thinking there was more stuff to do downtown, but the museum's temporarily closed. A bunch of stuff is closed on Mondays, and it's a Monday, so we got Timmy's, and we are gonna go head to the Reversing Falls, which I've heard isn't actually that exciting, but better than nothing. And then we'll see where the afternoon takes us. Here's Reversing Falls. Essentially, there's enough water pressure that it pushes the water in, as opposed to pulling it out. But right now it's whirlpooling.
That is cool.
Oh, I think there might have been two ancient continents that drifted over hundreds of thousands and thousands of years together, and because the rocks are different on this side of the river from that side of the river, and that this used to be the space between them used to be a giant ocean, but now it's just this little river. That's cool. And this is where the water comes in and starts getting squished into this little canal. That's a paper factory, so, you know, fun. Beach afternoon. Beachy afternoon. I went in the water, even though it's kind of brown. But everyone else is swimming it, so I feel like it was okay. But yeah, now we're chilling on the beach. I'm getting some sun in Canada, of all places. Yeah, just getting to Fundy National Park, and we're gonna go on a couple hikes and explore. We're going to the Caribou Plains. It's like about a 2-mile hike, and it goes over like wetlands and in forest and on a boardwalk. You know how I love a boardwalk. At the visitor center, had a little bit of a souvenir shop, and had our lunch here, and now we're gonna head into the little town just outside of the park called Alma, and it's supposed to be just a cute little village, and then we'll come back in the park and try to see a couple more things before we hit the road back to St. John. Out to part of the Bay of Fundy, and you can see it's pretty low tide right now, but the water line comes all the way up to here. So this is the most changing tides in the world. So the water level when it's high tide comes up the highest and goes down the most change to the lowest tide. So right now it's low tide. See how deep it would get. I think these sticks are like where the water line is. You can kind of see where the rocks are. It makes sense. It's like a stream of sand dollar shells. Oh, they might be clams. They don't have the little design on them. Oh no, here we go. See how fast it's coming in. Comes in, goes out really fast because it has such extremes. Very cool. Dickinson Falls, and we're just going to do the short little trail to see the falls and some of the nature here. Well, we're going to plan to do the little loop. Good thing, because the big loop is temporarily closed.
That's not the full one. He has more to find.
The story of Japanese knotweed continues. Only these people are trying to get rid of it. And it seems like it's in an old like train station, which is a little different, but there is a sign. It says Sully's Ice Cream, so fingers crossed. Got ice cream at the Sully's place, but they have two different kinds. One's Sussex. Sussex is like, they make it homemade here in the town, this little village of Sussex. I got mint chip. Definitely really good. I would say a 9.5 out of 10. There's a little bit of like artificial aftertaste, but like really minor, but really good. Good morning from our adventure day to go see some beautiful sights. The fog is clearly cooperating with us. We can see everything, no problem. Apparently we just passed an airport that we didn't know about and a body of water that we could barely see, so day's starting out promising. It's great. It's great. So we're just pulling into St. Martin, passing this pretty epic covered bridge here. Drove down the main street, if you want to call it that.
Turn right onto Big Salmon River Road.
Now we're turning right onto Big Salmon River Road. In case you were wondering. Lighthouse. Seeming not in use of
Continue on Big Salmon River Road for 4 kilometers.
Ooh, drive-through covered bridge. Which aren't they all, but like, I feel like they aren't. Bay of Fundy at high tide now. You can kind of see through the mist, some outcropping. We have arrived at, what is it called?
Big Salmon River.
Big Salmon River, in the Fundy Park Trailway, that one. It is completely fogged in, as is told by the woman at the ticket booth. But we're gonna try and do our hike anyway because we are stubborn that way. And we're gonna hope that, like the last couple of days, the fog clears out as we're enjoying the ambiance of a Stephen King novel. So that's the plan. So there's the suspension bridge at the start. There's this whole hike. It's about 30 miles if you do the whole thing. Obviously, we're not doing the whole thing. We'll probably go like 3 or 4 miles out and then turn around. The fog seems to be lifting a little bit. Starts out under this bridge that you drive over, weirdly. Waterfall crossing? A little over 1.25 miles. And it finally opened up. Still obviously a lot of fog, but we can actually see the shore, which is kind of nice. There's some mildly dilapidated benches. And then the path continues into the woods. And I have come to this mud pit area, and we're creating our own adventure over these moss-covered rooted trees. This is the point at which we decided to turn around. We made it about 2.8 miles. Oh my God, 1.8 miles. And it's taken us 85 minutes. And there's more things we want to see on the Cape. So we've decided this is it. How many cairns people built? It's ridiculous. Driven further out, and we are back in Alma, where we were yesterday when we went out into the beach. And we're stopping at Kelly's Bake Shop to see what they have. Maybe they'll have something gluten-free for Aaron. So we're just driving to Cape and Rage. Beautiful views, clearly. We can see everything. We assume that's the coast. No visual confirmation. Okay. Swampiness. That's what we got so far. Well, hello from Cape and Rage. We think the lighthouse is up at the top there and around, but we drove up there and cannot see anything because of the fog. So we decided not to pay the entrance fee and instead come down here and take a little poke around. So this is what we see. So many Karens because people are idiots and don't realize that that's actually bad for the environment. Super misty, tide's out, which is kind of cool. Pulled up to the parking lot at the Hopewell Rocks. We're kind of at the end of high tide or low tide, so we'll see what we can see. The iconic flower pot rocks, us and all of our newest friends. Definitely tide still out, so we're gonna go have a closer look. The cliff edge isn't super stable, so that's cool. So this is how high the water gets over here, and then it comes down when the tide goes out, and so it's low tide right now, so we can kind of walk around under these. But these are all submerged during high tide, and the constant shifting of the seas is kind of what makes all these holes in the rocks. Reminds me of Zion, honestly. Just like the water world version. Oh. Very brown water. There's the tide coming in. Aaron, oh shoot, I did not plan accordingly, and now I need to wait until low tide comes up. Into the interpretive center to learn a little bit about this place. This is low tide. This is what we saw it like. This is medium tide. So if we waited a little bit longer, it'd kind of look like this. And then that's high tide. You can go like kayaking and stuff through them. Comparison of when the tide is high and when the tide is low. That's pretty much the end of our adventures today. We have a couple hour drive back home, and so we're gonna head that way and take the freeway, but yeah, that was adventuring in New Brunswick.